Find me.
Celeste, can you hear us?
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Sorry, I'm cookie hustling.
I know.
Isaiah, speaking training. Not sure if my audio.
I like the Samoas,
I did quite a bit.
and the dusty does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
What's the peanut
I
butter?
also had that.
Take along.
And all my
You can sit for 2 seconds, they're trying to get it.
Okay, Celeste, can you still hear us?
Can you hear us, Celeste?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Great.
You hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Are we recording?
We are.
Recording in progress.
Okay, call to order, sorry for the short delay. We're gonna rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Declaration of potential conflict of interest, Kyle.
None.
Stu. Mike.
No.
Celeste.
None.
None, fantastic. Public comment? Anyone?
Is that,
Yeah?
we have concerns
Sorry.
with expression?
Here, one
So,
second, Sharon.
Hold on one sec. Did you sign in out there?
That was my fault. Sharon got here right as I was getting here, so she probably didn't get the chance to. You can fill us out after if you want to do your public comments now, that's
Okay.
great.
So if you wouldn't mind coming, so Mike has a thing that transcribes, if you wouldn't mind coming closer, and then just state your name and, address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
Sharon Johnson, and my, address is 1940 Cooper Drive, Seaside, Oregon, 97138.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm here because I'm a member of Sunset Recreation, and we haven't had our weight room available for 4 months, except for specific hours when there's classes in there, and that's like 2 hours a week with what the classes are doing. So, I met with Skylar Archibald on 2/6, and we discussed the issue, why isn't the weight room open and why can't we use it, and that it's been closed for over 4 months, ever since November. And we talked about some solutions. I had a couple solutions. One was that I was told the reason you can't be in there is because there's no one in there except when there's class. But, so I asked if someone could just staff it so that we could use it any time, and he said no, that wasn't an option. And then I asked about, my solution was to try to trade with one of the weight facilities in the area. There's 2 different ones I'm aware of, so that we could offer them the pool and the hot tub temporarily until it got resolved that we could open the weight room. And so Tyler said he had contacted them, but nothing had happened. So, to my understanding, nothing's happened to date. But, so, I went and talked to, he said that one of the reasons it's not open is because of the city manager not allowing it to be open. But I didn't know why. So anyway, my question is, did you receive the January 22nd letter from the city of Seattle about temporary occupancy for how that would work for the old junior high?
So generally in public comment, we don't generally respond until you have finished making your
Okay.
public
Can
comment.
I just pass these out?
Yes, you
This is
can.
a copy of the letter. Okay. So I met with Jeff Corey, and he gave me a copy of this letter. And he said, bottom line, that you've been notified of the need of, or Skylar's been notified of the need of all the things required to have temporary occupancy because you don't have the certificate of occupancy for that building. So anyone in that building is illegally in that building, and including members, but they don't know it. And there's a deadline in this letter, and the first deadline is, I think, right up in 2 days, and it's on number 7 on the second page. and it's a signed acknowledgement. The attached acknowledgement must be signed by the executive director indicating that CERD board is aware of the issues and supports the city's proposed plan. This signed affidavit must be returned to the city of Seaside by February 28th. So my first question is, has that been done? And then my next question is, there are several things that need to be done, but they don't seem to be that expensive or that time difficult, but it all has to be done by, by July 1st, 2025. And if it's not done by July 1st, 2025, then there's administrative penalties. And the first one is $5,000 for initial occupancy violation, and then an additional $1,000 fine for each day that you remain occupied in the building without a CFO. So I'd like to understand where you are in these compliance requirements and what has been done. And according to Jeff Flory, I wanted to give you this copy, that's his card.
So, this letter has been revised several times since this was sent. He gave you the wrong copy.
Okay.
So the 28th, the acknowledgement is not a thing anymore. That we've had, multiple discussions about it. There's a couple, we're gonna have one tonight. It's on the, schedule. We had a couple meetings, last month, special board meetings. We had another meeting. You can view those on YouTube. I believe they're recorded. Yes. As far as the, using the facilities, after you called me at work, I called Skylar and he mentioned that that is also on the thing. So if you would like, you are welcome to stay and view the rest of the meeting and hopefully get some answers to your questions.
Okay, so you've received the letter and you're working on those things in
Yes.
today, tonight? And,
Yep.
well, Skylar said there's no date for when the, weight room is gonna be open, and there's really no plan that's been
So
implemented. But I didn't even know about this letter until I talked to Jeff Corey.
So we're gonna discuss it later tonight, the plan.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, and can I say something?
Go ahead, Sue.
The comment about unlawful is inaccurate, and that's one of the things that was in a revised letter.
Yeah.
So you have an old first copy that they revised.
Well, that was from what Jeff Corey said, because
Correct.
you don't have the CO or any of these things,
No, that's
that
inaccurate.
you're illegally occupying it.
He has revised copies of this letter that he sent us. So he gave you the wrong copy. of
Or
this
an
letter.
earlier version.
An earlier version.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That letter was retracted.
Yeah. Okay?
But thank you.
Yes. Do we have anyone online? I mean, other than Celeste.
Just
Hi,
the
Celeste.
last, yeah.
We are going to recognize the hold on.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, of course.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
there was a letter, I just wanted to point, there was a public communication in the packet, I
Yeah.
believe, just to make sure people notice. I believe, am I wrong about that?
You are correct, yeah. So there's information from the county about voter filing and some of the deadlines. I think I shared these, but this is the official information that came after our January board meeting, so just included that. And then there's a letter that we actually got on the day of the board meeting last month, but wasn't able to include it in the packet because of the timing. But it's from Carlos, pickleball player. I was gonna say avid pickleball player, and he was submitting some statement about the SRC and the gym. So
Have we communicated with him since this letter?
we have,
Okay.
yeah, we shared our plan, and while I do think that I can see Carlos's perspective that yes, you can find evidence of the 80 or 90 basketball games in the gyms over the weekend. We have janitors that are working the entire time. We have part of our management team that's working.
Could you get Michaela out? Thank you. Sorry.
Part of our management team that provides supervision, and really we're looking at like about a 12-hour timeline from the end of the last basketball game until pickleball on Monday. So it's kind of normal that the building would have some signs of wear, but we worked really hard to turn the building over and have it ready for pickleball on Monday. And I think the level of service that we're delivering for the basketball tournament teams, the rentals, as well as our pickleball players is really high. I'm actually really proud of it. So it's taken a lot of work to get us there. In previous years, we were not as equipped, but we have had great service by our maintenance and janitorial staff working through the weekend, providing coverage, coming in Saturday and Sunday to clean at the end of basketball games. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic in the building, so it's just.
When there's a, again, sorry to say, but when there's a tournament, is there, do they sign a contract?
They do.
With us? Is there a cleanup clause in the contract?
We build some staffing, some of the cleanup fees associated with it into our agreement with them.
So they pay for it, but they don't have to do it themselves?
They do some, just emptying trash in there, they know how to do that, but we found in the past.
No one knows.
Sorry,
She
keep
looked
going.
in and then left while this lady was speaking.
We found in the past, Kyle, that it's a better experience for all parties if we do most of that work
If you
ourselves.
control the meetings
Yeah.
yourself.
Has there been communication with him so that he is feeling like we've made improvement?
I think we explained our position to him, and he responded and said, thank you for the email, and we'll keep looking forward. It's a little bit after the fact now. We only have one more of those basketball tournaments. There's about 6 of them that we host from New Year's until next weekend is the last one. So it's a short-lived challenge that we're working through. Everything okay? You want to take a recess?
No, do you mind, I just want to make sure she got picked up.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
don't mind at all. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still right here.
Okay, you keep going, I'll be right back. Keep going. Sorry, juggling single parent tonight. Okay. Any other correspondence that I missed?
Just those 2 items were all that, yeah,
Okay.
needs to be in the packet.
Recognition of the SEPRD Employee of the Month, Jane Holiday. Jane is an incredible infant, toddler aide, and special events assistant, always bringing a positive attitude and a warm smile to everything she does. Her kindness and dedication make a lasting impact on both our littlest learners and our community events. Thank you, Jane, for your hard work and for spreading joy wherever you go. We have this lovely certificate for you and a gift certificate to the cookie jar. And you just sign it. If you would like to come up and get it. Thank you.
And I think this is the first time ever, but we actually have, Jane's going to be sharing a message later with Zoe as part of her presentation. So not only is she being recognized as Employee of the Month, she's also going to be public speaking later.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jane.
Give the award, do the work.
This one, can you just skip number 7?
So it's your meeting.
Move it to the.
Don't make me, you told me.
I know, move it to the end, make you stay the whole time.
You bargained with me, I'd be at the top.
I did bargain. We are going to recognize the Director of Programs, Justin Smith. How many years?
Very, very, very close to 10.
Very, very, very close to 10 years. Do we have am I supposed to read something, or am I just
No,
supposed
we're
to?
just
winging it.
recognizing? Okay, well then I will wing it.
Yeah.
So, I have known you, I think, a lot of those 10 years. Yeah.
Pretty much all of them.
You taught my kids to swim, all the programs, Start Smart, you chased them around when they were little.
It's about seeing them through all the youth programs too.
Pretty much, yes.
Always almost aged out too.
Yes, and you have brought us a very far way in all of our youth program, well, all our programming, and we truly appreciate you. And while I am very sad for our district because we are losing you, but I'm very excited for you on your new adventures, so.
Thank you, Catherine, I appreciate it.
I'm excited for you.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else want to say anything about Justin, other than darn you?
I said yesterday.
Yeah, we got through it yesterday.
Good. This is public record, though.
Yeah.
Importance for this organization to recognize that we are developing employees that are desired elsewhere.
Yes,
And Justin has developed his management team, and that Skylar has developed employees here. So it makes me proud to know that our employees are desired by other organizations. And it's important to our competency checklist to know that our people in our organization are competent. And although I hate to see Justin leave, I'm glad that he's showing his roots with this district, and he can go out in pride and know that he did a good job here, and he'll do a good job where he's going.
yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you're not going too far, so you will still come see us and visit.
Work a little overtime.
Yeah, side job. So thank you, Justin.
Thank you so
And,
much.
safe travels. You
Thank
don't
you.
have to stay for the rest of the week. You can go back.
But we're glad you're here.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Approval of board meeting minutes from January 23rd and January 28th, and I apologize for missing the 28th.
I thought the minutes looked good,
Yeah?
very substantial and
I found one.
inaccurate.
Did you find the typo?
Susan Scrivener here. This is for the 23rd meeting,
Okay.
under board comment. Hot.
Oh, it's hot, yeah, I see it, thanks, Val. Under your statement, appreciate it, it's on this.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do we have a motion to approve, meeting minutes from the 23rd with that
As amended.
edit?
So
Amended.
moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, thank you, Mike. All in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. Kyle?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Celeste?
I,
Aye. Meeting minutes from January 28th.
Yeah.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. Kyle?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Celeste?
I,
Aye. That one I'll sign. Do you want me to sign that one? Or- I'll sign it next to you.
Yeah.
Oh, Celeste, you get to sign this one, because I wasn't there.
We'll get it from you, Celeste.
Bye, Justin.
oh, okay.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, guys. Thank
Safe
you very much.
travels.
Safe travels.
Take care.
Farewell.
Okay, review of the financials from January of 2025. Chris is present and ready to answer any questions.
A couple questions on here. I'm looking at the revenue and expense report.
Yeah.
121% of income for special events.
Yeah, you're gonna hear about that. No, a lot of our, she overdid it again a little bit. And a lot of, some of our sponsors are on a different fiscal year too, so they kind of front load them, so,
Okay.
Mike,
You
can
know.
you hear?
probably not.
Can you hear?
Thanks.
A little bit.
Well,
Keep coming.
But yeah, so some of
I can't
our.
hear Chris.
I got you, Mike. Some of our sponsorships do get front loaded before because, they're like, here, we want to pay it all up in front. So some of that is kind of sprinkled throughout, but between Zoe and Jane getting sponsors, we've gotten more. We actually have our pickleball program now that is up and running for the high school. That was a big sponsorship. I know, I'm sorry, but that was one of the big sponsorships that came in that we weren't expecting.
So between now and the end of the year, are we expected to see lower revenue because that's front loaded, or?
Yeah, no, it'll probably, she'll probably get a few more sponsors, but I think the bulk of it has come in for that,
Okay,
for that
okay,
program.
that was my question.
Yeah.
And then in the SRC,
You're looking at expenses.
no, revenue.
Oh, revenue, yeah, we definitely are still awaiting some. But then expense-wise, so I was jumping down to there, 'cause that was one I was gonna note probably each time we have this meeting. A lot of that is because of fire systems, because it didn't get that, it was delayed from last budget year and kind of front-loaded into this one, so I had to carry.
And it's just booked under materials and services for the SRC?
Well, so it's technically under capital.
Yeah,
but-
that's what
but
it should be under.
It is, but that, on this form, you have about 3 more pages if we.
Oh, okay, I
So
got you.
it is under capital.
It's just rolled up.
Exactly.
SRC. I got it.
Like Rick has his full capital asset part laid out, and I mean, you can actually see that one in the audit. He gives a detailed list of everything. We go through it and check all the depreciation and all that, but it just gets kind of rolled up.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So, my question, my always question this time of year is, are we in for a bumpy landing?
I would say
or,
right now we're doing well, so unfortunately,
I got it, yeah.
this time, but,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we're currently 2% under our, you know, percentage, so I would say right now that's not bad. I mean, we've had quite a bit. We got through, a complete shutdown, which is always kind of that really hold your breath, because that's right when our tax money hopefully is coming in, and we got through that, and we were able to keep going.
So soft landing, you think?
Yeah, I think we got there, and now it's just keeping an eye and making sure that we're being, you know, fiscally responsible and continuing for the
Gotcha.
next
Yeah.
fiscal year. We're now into our budget process, and we're getting all of our numbers and kind of making sure that we're going to be able to do the same exact thing for this next year.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a little bit. So
I know,
if
it's like,
if there's any questions.
Kyle, you just channeled me. So I actually,
That's my superpower.
honestly, I'm really impressed. The 2 questions I had were asked by you, so my question on the check reports,
Yeah.
I'm just curious who the Placer County Democrats?
So they have like their holiday party. They just rent out the room, so that's just like the, I'm trying to think which part.
Is that the deposit?
Yeah, so that one, it looks like that would be the 2 deposits that we charge, the $450.
Okay.
Because there's an alcohol deposit and then a regular deposit. $250 for the alcohol, $200 for
The Democrats.
the regular one. But yeah, so it's nothing that we've done, we're just renting out the space, like anyone came and did it.
So I am curious, how much do we pay SDIS a year? I
Good
mean,
question, I mean,
A lot.
I mean,
it's definitely a lot, yeah, that's gonna be our monthly, and you're gonna see another one that I just had to cut this year for the actual annual property, but the one that you typically will see monthly is for, the health insurance, and then once a year, you see a bigger chunk up front for the property.
Hazard insurance.
Yeah, and that one, I just put that one in today, and never like putting that one in, because keep seeing those big numbers, but.
Yeah, and overall, Chris and I were talking, and he shared, our property hazard insurance has gone up, 15% year.
Well, we've got a lot of assets to protect.
We do, but that's generally like the marketplace, and I mean, at conference, you know, they went into great detail explaining why this is happening, and it's definitely not, an SDIS thing, necessarily, but it's a market thing. Right now, insurance is very expensive and hard to provide, and that's because of lots of different dynamics and risks associated, but it is a good, if you added up the, health insurance plus the hazard insurance, what we pay to SDIS is substantial. It's a good part of our budget. Yeah.
But SDIS, they bid out.
They do,
that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so we're getting the lowest price we can find
Yeah.
for insurance.
And they provided a couple different,
Yeah.
they were very transparent.
Are they is all their insurance provided in-house, or are they farm it out?
They farm the hazard insurance plans out. So we have a local representative that we deal with, and then the health insurance, yeah, we shop health insurance plans probably, what was that, like a year and a half ago, I think, or maybe it was
No,
more.
that was last,
It was last
that was
week.
last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything,
And then-
but they're kind of our broker that helps us get to a good spot and get the best deal possible for us.
So see, those were my questions.
Hey, Chris.
So one
Thank you,
more,
Kyle.
this is the, looking at the January 2025 personal services breakdown. And I just want to make sure I understand, so this is from July 1 through January 31st.
Correct.
So the period is a 7-month
Yeah.
period. Okay.
Yeah, from July 1st till June 4th.
Tiffany?
Since you guys had all the questions, does one of you want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the, January, financial record budget.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Kyle? Sue?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Plus?
Aye.
Aye. Staff presentation from Zoe and Jamie.
I do want to say that budgeting for revenue for special events is very difficult because a lot of things come to us unexpectedly. Oregon Farmers Market this year opened up a grant opportunity for climate resilience that Darren was able to apply for and we did receive. So the reason why it also looks inflated is because we received $10,000 for that and we haven't purchased the
Yeah,
equipment.
spend it yet.
We haven't spent it. So,
Okay, that's fine.
And that is to buy generators and weights and things for the farmers market, to put down the tents and generators in case the power goes out, things like that.
That's awesome.
So. Last year I did 2 presentations, one on special events and one on recreation, and I did a pretty extensive kind of overall view of both those departments. So this time I decided just to do both of them together and shorten them a little so that, because I feel like you guys really know what's going on because that last report was so extensive.
And we come to your events.
And you can continue. So, last year in recreation, in the recreation department, we cover fitness, we cover wellness, we cover community outreach. We do early childhood sports with our Start Smart sports. We do youth drop-in basketball. We do aquatic fitness. There's Sue, always my star. We do land fitness. We do adult drop-in sports, both basketball and pickleball. We have accessible and therapeutic fitness with our I Chi and our aqua yoga. We do senior recreation with our meals and bingo and stuff like that. And we do community arts with our pottery. We do health and wellness programs through working with the Arthritis Foundation. We do.
No, he's asking you where I am. That picture, no. Oh my
Are you
gosh,
too
that
late?
is me.
I told you you had
But
a lot of
no,
room,
that's
huh?
my shoulder in the bottom right picture. Bottom right, to my
Here?
right.
That's you?
That's me.
Oh, were you there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know that.
Oh, yeah, you were.
That
You
was
were.
the falls program.
Yeah.
Very
So,
excellent
And we do
program.
community outreach with, we partner with a lot of agencies, which I'll go over.
Sue, since you're famous, will you sign this later?
She asked if I had the water wings, and I said, was looking at the lady in the bottom picture.
So what we did
Sorry.
in 2024, we cross-trained all of our fitness and recreation staff between land and water so that they can help sub each other. We held 3 fitness in-service trainings focusing on inclusionary language and teaching practices. All of our staff, as of currently, are all certified, thanks to the board's request. We've been working really hard, and now everyone is certified.
That was from back when I very first started.
Yeah, it took a long time, but we got it there.
Yeah.
Now we're all certified. We've got a program to keep them certified, and yeah, that's awesome. We do community outreach with the Living Fit Yoga.
They do a Zoom yoga classes and offer some classes over there. We held a fall prevention training, class that Sue was at, with Providence Seaside Hospital. Actually, it was Providence Rehabilitation Center over in Gerhardt. We work with Northwest Senior Services, to hold, Tai Chi classes, arthritis classes, and an Otago program where a personal trainer went into people's homes and worked on a fall prevention program. And we work with Seaside School District Wellness Program. We offer them once a month. They usually come and do a recreation activity with us.
So just a question.
Yeah.
So we send people into homes.
Well, we did last year.
Okay.
That Otago program has been put on hold due to the fact that we lost our personal trainer.
Oh,
And
okay.
they're also doing some changes with Northwest Senior Services. So right now it is on hold, but last year we did send people into
How many people in the community accepted that service?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll have to check with them about that. But it was year round, and it was countywide too.
Right.
It wasn't just within our district. And Northwest Senior Services did all the, they would
Reach out.
the reach out. So, and then they accepted all the Medicare payments and stuff like that, and then they would contract out with us and we pay our instructor, and they schedule it. So it's a really good partnership, a way to get us into people's homes that wouldn't normally come to us.
Right.
So good outreach.
People are resistant to letting people from the government into their homes.
Yes.
So that's why I was curious.
Well, these people were to the point where they needed to be able, it's like medical rehabilitation. So they needed the extra help because they weren't able to.
Or need that.
Yeah. So that's on hold for now, and I don't know if that's going to continue. It depends on where Northwest Senior Services is going, because there's a lot of restructure going on right now in all those kind of government agencies.
Okay.
So, we expanded the adult pickleball program to 5 days a week, which has been really successful. We offered adult and youth pickleball instruction last year. That's also been put on hold for now. We're taking a waiting list, and we're just going to be offering individual clinics of instruction once we get enough people interested. We offered new senior programming. We're now having bingo after the senior meals, and we offer movie nights and games here at the BCC. So we're kind of back to pre-COVID programming, at least with the seniors. We extended our age. We had a few requests from patrons to extend our age from 3 years old to 2.5 years old for Start Smart Sports, and it was really successful. We had 8 2.5-year-olds added to it, and I was a little concerned, but it worked out, and they loved it, and we're going to continue that. Because the need was there. We listened to our community, and we met their need, and so the kids are wanting to do it younger and younger. We extended our adult basketball to 2 nights a week, and this year we kept the program running through PBL. Last year we canceled it through PBL to give them the gym space, and then it died off, and so it's really hard to build back up again. So this year we kept it going through PBL, and they have 20 to 30 adults a night on that. So
what's the average age of those players?
From what I've seen in videos and when I've talked to James, I would say anywhere from 16 to 35 is the average age.
Too young for me.
Oh, no, you're welcome. If you like to play basketball, go do it.
I love basketball.
Last summer, we offered a drop-in summer youth basketball every Friday, and we had 22 to 30 kids every Friday. And that was a free program that we offered because it was sponsored by the Cookie Jar last year. We offered more afternoon evening fitness classes, and James has built those classes up. So again, we're back to pre-COVID numbers for our evening classes. We received increased sponsorships and grants for fitness and recreation programs, because I've just been seeking them more. We increased the wellness programs, including our yoga workshops, our Walk with Ease, And we held a really successful Familiar Food is Medicine program at the community center. And that was a grant-funded program as well. Both Walk with These and Familiar Food was a grant funded.
Is Walk with These going again?
It is not, this is beginning of last year,
Okay.
but we will be continuing that.
I'll be there.
I know you will. And we increased our registration of the pottery program. We are outgrowing the pottery room. So, again, we are really looking forward to, getting everything all go into the SRC someday. What's new this year, and then some of this is dependent upon the SRC being ready for us to be there. We are offering now a free high school pickleball club, and we're allowing 13 to 19-year-olds to participate. It's sponsored by Seaside Providence Hospital, High Family Foundation, Columbia Memorial Hospital jumped on board this time for that, First Interstate Bank. We are...
Has that been popular? I've been advertising.
Well, it
for
just
you.
started Mondays and Wednesdays, started February 3rd. And so far, we've missed the Mondays because of weather and school canceling.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had enough to play pickleball.
Okay.
We had 4 to 8 people.
Okay.
And so they're just slowly advertising and building it up. And we're advertising to Astoria because we have Astoria sponsors and Warrenton as well. So I think that it will be successful. Let's see what else. We got a sponsorship from Providence Seaside Hospital to offer free open gym and swim, which we had our first one on the snow day. It was like, what can we do to help parents on a snow day? We just spontaneously offered an open swim and an open gym, and we had 75 swimmers, and we had 30 kids coming to the gym, so it was very successful. We got 4 more opportunities to have those, which is good. And they also recently sponsored a open swim last Saturday, where they offered someone there for people to sign up their kids for OHP, and they had their pediatrician there. So lots of really good partnerships with Providence Seaside Hospital. We are going to offer a youth sports summer clinic for 9 to 15 years old this summer. We're also diving into some younger age group programming, Mommy and Me Yoga Playtime, and teen weight training. That was a request from some teen patrons because I guess the school district is closed and they're used to doing their morning weight routine. And so James is going to open that up for summer. We're going to offer outdoor recreation this summer. Last summer we weren't able to, because I didn't have the instructors available. And this year we're going to offer an outdoor adventure day camp. It's kind of replacing our aquatic adventure camp. We no longer can do our aquatic adventure camp because we don't have any transportation right now. We used to be able to haul them all, the surfboards, into the van and travel around to the different bodies of water, and we no longer do that. So this time we're just going to start at the Sunset Pool, and then they're going to do walking trips to go clamming and crabbing and fishing and hiking and just all sorts of outdoor nature-based activities. And then they're also going to cover like water safety for riptides and a little bit of nature-based emergency care and things like that. And then they're going to end up at Sunset Pool for the open swims. And this is mostly basing it on 10 to 15, so kind of getting those middle school kids that we don't have a lot of programming for. We're trying to reach out to them. We're also going to be offering a skateboard camp this summer and really utilizing our skateboards, our skate park. And we're going to offer some paddleboards because we have our paddleboards, we can easily take them to the ramp.
So when is sign up for camp opening?
May 1st, we'll have a program guide out. So then we'll be opening up first.
People are already signing up though for stuff.
They're already signing up for
Yes.
stuff? You think we should get our program guide out sooner?
Well, I would be concerned about at least the camp part. I know as a parent of that age group,
Okay.
I already have my summer planned.
Okay, well, let me talk to Erin and maybe we can get it out sooner than that and then get it to the school sooner.
That
Okay,
I would, yeah. That's
Okay.
my next was gonna be like, send me a flyer.
Yeah, absolutely. We are expanding our community arts and recreation programs by adding some fiber art workshops. we have a artist who's going to be teaching sewing and fiber type art classes. And we're getting a lot of requests from people, working adults, to do an evening pickleball class, so we're going to offer evening pickleball class. Not a class, but a drop-in program. And then we're also getting a lot of requests from families, so we're going to offer a Family Friday pickleball.
The city council yesterday had quite a large conversation about, I think they called it track, but it's all the 109 garbage receptacles. They're going to put art, and they're recruiting. So and they mentioned something about fiber. You know, fiber. And I don't know anything about art, so.
The deadline for the track thing, though, I think is like Friday.
So we're decorating garbage cans?
They're soliciting art from the community, then they're going to print it. Our Mr. B up at the high school is going to print on these like vinyl, and then they're going to apply it so that it's like a city beautification kind of a program.
And I will tell you the date is being changed because they requested that there be a public policy for art display, so they're working on writing that before they enact this.
Because I've been advertising for them, and I knew that the deadline for submitting your art to be chosen is Friday.
So
It can be any art.
Photographs or?
Yeah, it can be anything, but they have very specific, like it has to be the size, because obviously it has to, you know, fit on the thing, and, you know, lots of guidelines in the description and whatnot. But I think it'll be kind of a cool program. I feel like you see that in a lot of tourist towns.
Yeah, so definitely going off of that, this would be a great program also to do some community work within the community, on things like that, where we find an opportunity and then here's a class they can take and then contribute their art into the community. So, yeah, it's for that program.
And this, also this year, I am expanding my sponsorship search for, to try to get more sponsorships in our programming versus just special events. So we're trying to grow the outside revenue sources for aquatics and recreation.
So Zoe, earlier tonight, Mrs. Johnson mentioned that there might be an opportunity to reach out with some local private clubs, private exercise clubs or whatever, and we could do a horse trade for some.
That's actually going to be talked about today
Number 12.
Okay.
in the meeting, so we'll circle back to that.
Okay, I just don't want to forget about it
Yeah.
because it
We
was
won't.
something that was important to her.
We won't. Okay.
Special events. Okay, so these are the special events that we had last year. Family dance, which this year our family dance is next week on Saturday, which is in your packet. We also last year had our community egg hunt, aquatic treasure drive, dive, farmers markets throughout the summer, 4th of July parade, Chocolate and Seaside, which was formerly at the prom and is now going to be incorporated into farmers markets this year. Fall Fun Fest, Turkey Trot, Lighted Parade, and our holiday swing.
So I'm just curious, because I've been one of the judges, the Chocolate is going to be like at Broadway Middle School parking lot?
It's going to be,
sorry.
it'll be within the farmer's market. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it within the open space in farmer's market or if I'm going to do it along the sidewalk of the SRC. I haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
So we're just incorporating we didn't want to get rid of it because it's such a fun event.
The crowd likes it.
Yeah. And, but it's just the resources needed for farmer's market. I just didn't have the time or the resources to go out and do another outside summer event. So bringing it into the market also brings more people to the market. So it gives us a chance to showcase our farmers market. I like to have a little bit of special events each month, and in August we usually have a pet photographer come up from San Francisco to take pictures of pets, and that's a big special event we have. And So I'm just trying to incorporate more special events within our farmer's market.
Okay, I got dog treats in my pocket.
Yeah.
Fruit bags in my back pocket.
You're ready.
I think I'll bring my
My
dog in.
coat has
for-
the same thing, it's in the car.
This year was our first year doing the lighted parade in a very long time, and so we had a couple staff that really wanted to do that. And next year, we're probably gonna put a little bit more effort into it, and, because it was a lot of fun for them, and I think it's a good presence for us to be there.
Does Darren still have the trailer with the like prom for when we did the
No,
centennial?
no.
That was cool.
Back in the day, yeah.
So looking at what we've done in the past year compared to 2023, you can see just by the numbers in 2023 to 2024, the amount of growth. There's been a lot of growth in every event throughout the year, especially our family dance from 210 to 365 attendees, and also our turkey trot has grown a lot. It's grown 56% in registrations and over 65% were non-resident for 2024. And also, Seaside Farmers Market grew from 40 vendors in 2023 to 65 vendors in 2024. So just a lot of growth here. Along with the growth, our sponsorships and grants are increasing as well. So we have about $8,000 more from the 2024 year. So lots of growth.
That's good that we like to compete with ourselves.
But it looks like the number of people that we served is gone up by about half. And our revenue's gone up by 25%.
And some of that is because, you know, people, like, again, we're going back into our pre-COVID days, and so people are wanting to get out more.
So this is more back to normal numbers?
I think so.
Okay.
This is more back to normal numbers. And also, we have a really good marketing team now, and they're really doing great with their promotions. And it also helps when you have sponsors, because your sponsors also help you promote. And then we also partner a lot with the school district, helps us promote almost every event. So, yeah, I mean, those account for it. So having those partnerships and those presence in the community helps people know about our events.
It also helps when it doesn't rain on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's true too.
Just saying.
With Thanksgiving, we were able to
Where's
have, we actually, this year, we received a grant from the city, for the city tourism grant, and that made a huge difference, because we were actually able to advertise in Seattle and Portland.
Yeah.
And also on some outside racing sites. So that helped grow the turkey trot.
The thing that's one of the things that I love about our events is, so we're growing these numbers, which is great. And I think they continue to grow themselves because, like, for myself and my family, every one of these is like part of our traditions that we do. So every time you add somebody new, they're going to make that part of their tradition. We now, you now have 200 more people that know about, Seaside has a turkey trot. I'm going to come down next year and make that part of my family tradition, and we're going to bring everybody else. And so, very cool.
Yeah.
You guys do good work.
And family oriented.
Yes. Community oriented too.
So looking ahead, I talked about some of this before, but we're still looking ahead to increase youth and adult sport programming, including bringing back adult leagues and including some senior games. And of course, some of this is dependent upon the SRC being ready for us to do this, but I also am interested in developing more adaptive sports and recreation and special events. We do support the Dance Now Club, which is a dance every day, holds every month for people with special needs, but I would like to really develop some more adaptive programming. I also want to develop a comprehensive community art program once we're able to get into that building. We've got some beautiful art rooms over there, and that's my goal, to add some more art, like from child art to adults. I want to increase outdoor and nature-based fitness and recreation program, which we're already starting that this summer through an outdoor recreation camp. But there's lots of opportunities to get people out in nature, and we have a beautiful area to do that. I'd like to grow our events, continue growing our events, including the turkey trot. There's opportunities for turkey trot to grow and farmers market to grow. I want to develop, and I've talked about this before, to develop an aquatic therapy and rehabilitation program. I now have a staff person who is actually working towards getting their certification in aquatic therapy and rehab. And so once that's done, we'll be able to offer those types of services in our warrant pool.
Because we used to have that program through Providence.
Well, we used to have it through a personal trainer, but this would be, not personal trainer, a personal, physical therapist, thank you, physical therapist. But this would be more like personal trainer style in the water for medical rehab.
Yeah.
Oh, I always continue to look, to increase our health, wellness, and nutrition program. Right now, we have a contract to be able to put on the diabetes prevention program like we have in the past, but things have changed within that system. That's a program, sponsored by the CDC, and now they require us to become providers so that, and it's through, partnered with Northwest Senior Services, and they are able to get Medicare if we can become a provider. So Jennifer Soprano and I are both certified lifestyle coaches for the diabetes prevention program. But we are in the process of trying to get Sunset Empire as a provider to be able to receive Medicare dollars for that program. So that's kind of my goal this year, to get us to be providers so that we can actually provide that program here. I always am looking to continue to grow community partnerships, and of course continuing to grow our outside revenue sources through sponsorships and grants. Always looking. Which again is why it's kind of hard to budget for that kind of revenue, because grants come up last minute. We don't know until sometime after we've already prepared the budget if a grant opportunity comes. So sometimes that's why it seems like we're higher on our revenue.
It's a good problem to have. Can I ask back to something you said about the surf camps that we used to do?
Yes.
So the issue for that is that we sold the bus.
Yes.
Have we looked at because you can, I believe you can contract through the school district.
I'm going to look at other sources for
I
transportation.
know
There's also
somebody that
another
would like that program
organization.
back.
There's also another organization downtown, I forget the name of them, that also contracts out their buses. But also, I was also going to look at contracting out with the surf shop.
Right.
You know, so there's other ways you can provide these recreation services without actually having to provide them.
Yes.
So I am looking into continuing that.
Because I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool.
Years ago, I used to contract out with the golf, Gerhart Golf with their pro, and they used to have a women's golf class for me. And so I'd like to start partnering out with our community more on that, so we can offer more recreation services, you know, that are not within our facility.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Any other questions?
I'm curious about this picture. What is it doing?
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, was the last New Year's dance that we sponsored for the people with disabilities, and they're just there with a frame, and they're taking, the gentleman in his walker and his caregiver.
That just looks very
We're
cute.
taking a picture.
Photo booth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Zoe or James?
No, I don't have any questions. I'm just continue to be amazed at your accomplishments, Zoe, and it's great that you've got some help with Jane, and this growth and the progress is really remarkable. It really is. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice work, Zoe.
Here's this fair. I got two.
You need extras.
One for my writing.
Well, thank you very much. You guys are definitely welcome to not hang out with us anymore. All right, old business. Skylar, take it away.
Okay, first item is repeated. Made several appearances on the agenda. We're still without a finalized and adopted strategic plan. I know we had a great discussion last month, but came away from that discussion. We weren't fortunate to have the board chair. Came away from that discussion feeling a little bit without great direction, the staff was, about what our next steps should be. So I think there's some options that we have. One thing that was discussed was the board would like to have a workshop or a special meeting to do that. And obviously we're here in February, so that workshop would be at some point in between now and our March meeting, potentially. I think another option, and talk to Brandon, the contractor, about this, was to select a representative to work with myself and the contractor to move the needle on the concerns that the board has with the document and try to help create a finished product that's acceptable. And then another option that came up was we had a private citizen, actually Carolyn Heyman's husband, Bob, has done a lot of consulting work before. He's board chair of the Canada Beach Fire District, and they are doing or have recently done a strategic plan. He also worked closely with the group that did a lot of the planning and getting permissions and approvals and buy-in from different entities on the Lake Oswego Recreation and Aquatic Center. He's familiar with SEA and the strategic plan, so he offered some really great insight. A few things that could, in my opinion, were pretty tangible and easy to complete in terms of getting the strategic plan closer to a finished product that's acceptable, that meets our standards, and something that we will be able to utilize. Our constituents will be able to read and understand easily. So I think that's a really good option. So I'm just, it's the first item here because I want to get clarity from the board on the direction that they'd like to go.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that's my part though. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
You're on mute.
Sorry, Skylar, I think that was a great update, and I think you have some great options there. And what I would propose is that we nominate a board liaison to check with the community volunteer, somebody who might also work with our contractor to get things over the finish line, and I'd like to nominate that Kyle be in that role.
Celeste, you read my mind. I will second that.
I'll accept the nomination.
Okay. Yay, Kyle.
Okay, so we had a motion by Celeste and a second by Catherine, and Kyle accepted. Thank you.
Do we want?
We don't need to vote.
And also welcome, and Kyle, if you thought that it requires a board workshop, like, I would just want to empower you to put anything into place, working with Skylar, of course, and staff, like anything into place that we need to do to get it over the finish line.
Okay.
Do you want to vote, official vote?
I don't think we need it necessarily, but
The consensus.
yeah, it seems like consensus. So what I would like to maybe just flesh this out for a tiny bit is what I'll do is work with Kyle and Bob, maybe coordinate a meeting, and I don't know if we'll include our consultants in that first initial meeting, but maybe we will, maybe we won't, and then we'll see kind of where we're at. I think Kyle has he's done this before, he knows how to do this, and I think he has a sense for the concerns that have been raised by the board about the document, but also balancing that with our desire to get a finished product and to not have this go on unnecessarily, like forever and ever and ever, but to find a conclusion here that's serviceable for us and for the board and for the public. So I think that's a great choice, and Kyle, I'll connect with you here soon, and with Bob as well. Really thankful to Bob for kind of popping out of the woodwork. I know he's skilled and he has a lot of experience in this, so I think it'll be a really good helper for the board and for the district to have his insight.
Great, thanks, Scott.
All right, just moving on, wanted to provide an update as we have on our projects that we're working on. So speaking of, been on the agenda for a while, but the fire alarm work, I want to be like fair and transparent at the same time. It's done. We did our punch list walk last week with Interface Engineering, and they're the ones that designed the plans and helped us get the scope of work that we eventually put out for bid. And that bid was won by Convergent. Convergent hired Inland Electric to do the actual work on the ground here. So Interface Engineering has been really great to work with. So we had their engineer here, did the punch walk with our owner's rep, Chris, and some staff members. There is a few items outstanding that weren't completed according to the documents, according to the contract, basically. That's normal. The scope of work is going to be a little bit, it's going to probably delay actual completion of the project because there's like some things, for instance, all of the fire alarm strobes have to be labeled in a certain way, and they weren't labeled. So if you can imagine going back through each room and labeling those will take a little bit of time to coordinate and for that work to get done. But by and large, the punch walk went really good. We were hoping to have the final inspection last week also, but we weren't able to get it kind of coordinated with the folks from the city, but that'll be happening soon as well. So really, really close. I feel like I've said that so many times, so I don't want to.
Well, and you shared with me that we got a real life test of it.
We did, yeah. We had a fire alarm activated in the SRC today. Exhaust fan kicked on, and there was so much dust behind the fan that it activated the fire alarm. But it worked well. The fire department came. They're always really fast. I mean, we're super close, but they're always great. And they were able to use the system, you know, get a prelim. I know they know about the system, and we've been in close contact with them. But looking forward to kind of those final little pieces being addressed and completed.
So the time frame, are we looking at like the first week of March?
I can't say for certain, Sue, unfortunately. I wish I could. The punch list, the items that need to be addressed have been shared with the contractor, and I think the next steps are for them to make arrangements for that work to be completed. There is some potential for them to, for us to do some wiggling around within the contract to get, I mean, all of the things will be done up to code at least, but they weren't done. Sorry, I want to make sure I say that correctly. The improvements that need to be made to bring the alarm up to code will have to be done. That's not negotiable. But what is negotiable are things that were in the contract that exceed the code, and so we may wiggle with them on that, looking for things to happen in a certain time frame or looking to expedite the needed punch list repairs.
So that's for the alarm system?
Correct.
And then the sprinkler system?
Sprinkler system is not necessarily connected. Interface did help us with preparing a report on the condition of those sprinklers, and they found that by and large, almost all of the sprinklers are compliant. It will be up to us to make the case and up to the city to decide if they want us to replace the existing sprinkler heads with quick release heads. There's quick release heads on a small part of the building, but not on the whole building. So that is kind of up for, there's going to be a little bit of a negotiation on how they interpret the code and what they say needs to be added. There is one part of the building that we anticipate will need to, I don't want to say construct, but add sprinkler heads, and that's on the overhead awning.
Exterior overhang.
Exterior overhang. That's where our youth programs folks are picking up kids right on Broadway. That is a wood structure, and it doesn't have any sprinklers, and because it's fixed to the building, current code would require that there's sprinklers there. So that will be something that we'll have to add, most likely additionally.
That's so interesting because that's been there since the school
Correct.
was there, but they never had a sprinkler system.
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, the code now requires it, whereas the building code at the time didn't. Yeah, seems like that's.
I'll make sure everybody gets wet when they exit the building.
I interrupt my children up there quite a bit.
I think that's it for the alarm update. Moving on to, wanted to share a little insight into the systems development charges work that we've been engaged on. And
Just, before we move off the SRC, and I know it's tough to identify a timeline.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have this July 1 fixed deadline, but what's your deadline?
We've passed that deadline a couple of times. So I've adjusted my deadline, and I think I'll continue to have to do that. I think we're trying to get the work completed, but I think there's been some frustration on our part, the owner's part, of not how the work has been delivered by our local contractor, but how it's been subbed out by that group, and some lessons learned. They had a turnover in kind of the project manager about halfway through the project, and that impacted the customer service that we received in a significant way.
Well, I don't want to forget about Sharon's, Mrs. Johnson's concerns about getting access to those facilities.
Yeah.
And she's the one that's speaking out, but there's a lot of other people out there that have similar anxiety about not being able to work out. So I want to send a message to our patrons that, hey, you know, this is going to be done by, you know, X date, or, you know, but thanks for hanging in there with us, but, you know, we need a few more weeks or months or whatever it is.
If it's okay,
I'm also curious about what it means, like, we have a workout facility, like, is it not, if this is an undetermined amount of time, is it reasonable to consider opening the workout facility that was in the, behind the pool?
Yeah. Do you want to move item 12A to now?
We're almost there.
Okay.
Why don't we just finish these?
I think those concerns, and definitely Ms. Johnson's maybe a better arrangement for providing that service to our members will be explained in that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm sensitive to those things also, and wish that we were further along or completed with that. Our hope was to finish the fire alarm and get it inspected and approved, and then to leverage that conversation or that good momentum that we had with the city to kind of make sure we were on the same page about the other items outstanding that they included in the correspondence that they sent to us. And it feels preemptive to have that conversation with the city when we don't have what was the root of the tree of things that they wanted to do, which was the fire alarm update to be completed. Until that's complete, it seems we're just kind of stuck waiting for the other pieces, for that piece to fall into place.
So are we still doing the fire watch?
We are, yeah. And there could be a requirement that we have to continue that. The actual conditions of that fire watch have not been explained to us. It was suggested that it would be a good thing for us to do, and so we did it. But we've had, even during this time, we've had an active and existing fire alarm that was operational. Now we switched to the new fire alarm, so it's robust and it's up to code and it's fancy. But even the previous fire alarm was working the entire time until it was taken offline.
Well, it sounds like it showed itself working today.
Yeah,
That's the new one.
Yeah.
And hopefully we don't have to have a lot of experiences with it like that, but it's good to know that it's working.
Yeah, heaven forbid we might have to keep our people safe.
We've submitted a packet of information in regards to SDCs. Celeste, I will email this to you, or make sure that you have it. Sorry, I'm going to try to just touch on it briefly because I know it was discussed at our last meeting. And working with it's now the Bowman Group, but it used to be FCS. What we do is submit. It's kind of a process of submitting information. They receive the information. They ask questions of clarity, and we provide answers to that question. So if you look at this submission of information, you'll see some of the things that they asked us to include. There's a survey in there. There's a kind of an inventory of our existing facilities. And then the thing that I put on top, even though it's not necessarily in the order that they asked for, is our project list. So this would be the project list that they would use to quantify the need for implementing a systems development charge. And you'll see there's some big I'm gonna note, and I don't want anyone on the board to raise concern, but there's some big projects on here. But this is like essentially like when you're 10 years old and you're building your wish list for your birthday or for Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. So there's the SRC project, that's the special use site that you see as the top priority. Then there's the pool project, so it's not a secret, but at some point in the future, we will need to invest or have resources available to rebuild or remodel or renovate our existing pool facilities. Those don't last forever, despite what Hale was able to get out of their 75 or 80-year-old structure. We don't necessarily want to go that long. So the pool was opened in 1977, so it's coming up on its 50-year birthday here soon. So
Another event, Zoe.
yeah.
When?
Nice, when?
2027.
Okay, got a few years planned.
You'll see that we added or included potential expansion of services. Right now, we are a park and recreation district. I know that everybody knows this, but our relationship with the city is that they maintain the city's parks, and we don't really have a lot of open space or park space in our inventory, and that's okay. I think the city is doing a great job with that. But recognizing some needs for expansion of parks is really important. That's part of our duty under the ORS. That's part of what park and recreation districts are supposed to do. So we added potential expansions into a neighborhood park in what we call the north, so somewhere in the northern part of the district boundaries. Thinking about the Colby Lake, Surf Pines, the Dunes, Clatsop Plains area. We have a good amount of residents that live there, and if you think about that space, there's some park space out there, but I think having a park that's district, built into a master plan of a community that looks great, that is serving the members, serving the district residents there, is that would be a really awesome thing to provide. The second neighborhood park that we put in here for budgeting for is somewhere on the east area of the district. So there's a new development on South Wahana that's going to eventually have a lot of residential housing for district residents. There's a lot of folks that live in the, I don't know what that area is called, but the Cooper Street area, the Sunset Hills area. There's a lot of our residents and members that live in that area. And yes, Broadway Park is fairly close, but it would be awesome to have a smaller pocket park or neighborhood park in that area. The next park is the North 40 Sports Complex. So as you all know, that's land that is owned by the city, and I think there's hopes and aspirations on the city's part to develop. They did a big community survey last year, but to develop a sports complex there, mainly to serve youth sports in our area, so youth soccer, youth football, youth baseball, and softball.
Yeah, but they're taking a chunk of it to build apartments.
They are taking a chunk of it, but that part was never really used for recreation park space. In English, it's kind of, I think they're calling it the North 40. But yeah, you're right. But there's enough space there. They've even done some renderings early on. Mike may have seen them as a member of the Parks Committee, where they had layouts configured and things that could be included in that space. And I think our involvement with that project it'll be up to the city, but we will advocate strongly that we are a partner or that we manage that space. The city doesn't do park programming, they provide physical space. And so especially if the facility is turf, which we would probably advocate for them to have turf on that facility, I think it would make sense that SEPRD would be really involved and maybe be the managers of that space in a similar way that we're managers of Broadway Field.
Does the developer have to set aside acreage for parks when they get the development approved?
As far as I know, they do not here. In a lot of other communities, that is a requirement. I don't think it's a requirement by the city of Seaside nor by Clatsop County. Included in that would maybe be finding space on that property or nearby, like at the tennis courts or more outdoor pickleball courts. We have two that are kind of on the district property, but we get a lot of interest in outdoor pickleball, and it seems like it's something that's a need. And then the last is a says neighborhood park, but I think what we'd be looking for is some way to tie in the existing facilities that we have near the pool. So it's Broadway Field, it's Broadway Park, the skate park, the SRC, making all of those feel like one central place for people to congregate to do all of their recreation things. Basically, it's such a cool place to come because there's so many different things that people can do. So we included that as one of our projects. So we have sent this off to them, and they're working through their next steps, but I just wanted to include it for visibility. This packet has copies of our survey community needs assessment that we did before we purchased the SRC, but to kind of help provide us with some data on how the community felt about that. It also had some other information that they requested. So we're still at the early stage of this with the Bowman Group or SCS, but I wanted to bring some visibility to that. And again, sorry Celeste, this was as much for you because I think you asked for it, and I will make sure that I get this sent to you here soon.
So Kyle sent it over with pictures, so I have visibility.
Thank you, Kyle. Good use of technology there.
So, if the city had talked about developing Cartwright Park for pickleball, what happened to that?
As far as I know, I think it was one of the options that they considered. I don't think they wanted to replace anything that was at Cartwright Park. But I think it was maybe how they're going to use the old school district administration building property. So
They're going to tear that down.
yeah, I think that's the ultimate plan. But how if they redevelop this for pickleball courts or not, that would be TBD. I know there was one city councilor that was a strong advocate for using that space for that, but he is no longer on city council, so I'm not sure if the momentum for that project is still what it was or if it's a different priority now. All right, great. Moving on.
Can I ask a quick question on these, as I'm seeing these, Skylar? One of the community needs that I love seeing this list, by the way, even if it's high in the sky like the Christmas list that you talked about. I think it's just fine for us to have these in front of us. But one of the things I don't think I'm seeing here is I heard a community need for more court space, like
outdoor court space.
Both indoor and outdoor, so more indoor, like that we're short on spaces for like kids to play.
Yeah, I think in our minds and staff's minds, we're addressing that through doing everything we can to open the SRC fully. Our vision for the SRC is that, there will be programming in there, but there will also be a lot of drop-in opportunities for the community to use gym space and recreation and fitness space and art space as well.
That's great. We may just want to list that in here so it's reflected, since we've heard that.
Yeah, okay.
So that's
good feedback. Okay, just wanted to share, I think everybody probably saw our efforts to get this crosswalk project finished. It felt really good to finally get a project across the finish line. And I just wanted to share, we had a really cool social media post that kind of went for us a little bit viral with a lot of shares and likes and comments and things like that. That just doesn't happen for most of our stuff. Usually it's a much smaller reaction. But yeah, we had.
Who wrote it?
Haley did. Yeah.
She did a great job.
Yeah, she did. But yeah, we had over 100.
I know.
Over 100 likes and a lot of comments and shares, including some people on the board. I think Catherine might have commented, but just really happy and want to shout out the city, the Public Works Department. They were super prompt at getting the signs installed once we received them, and the whole process, although it's been a long time coming, it's been great. And
that was why I joined the board.
We've used the crosswalk. I've used the crosswalk many times.
Your work is done.
I know. I can quit tomorrow.
It makes me feel a lot safer.
Just the first person to go across, and then I was the second. I said, you've got to call Catherine. She needs to drive down here and walk across it.
I got to use it yesterday. I was stoked.
So I think it's my hope, unless the board wants to see this be on the agenda every month moving forward.
No, we can cross that off.
We will cross that off and consider it a completed effort.
I will tell you, yesterday in the wind, I
oh yeah.
came out and
It was shaking a little bit?
It was moving,
Yeah.
and I said, I'll step over here. So,
On my way here to this meeting, I did see a family with small children come out of the pool, and they just ran across the road. And I was like, but there's, push the button. But then the next person literally right after them pushed the button. So I think it will just take some adjustment. But I'm very.
It's a scary intersection. I mean, it's
I'm-
a scary spot.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that completed and hopefully help improve the safety of folks getting to and from our spaces.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
making that happen.
Oh,
I would like to see my plaque.
thank you,
Truckers
Catherine.
Cross Talk.
Well, yeah.
That's a cheers to a good accomplishment, getting that over the
We'll
finish
have to do
line.
something to honor Catherine up there, maybe.
I want a ribbon stretched from one to the other and big
The
scissors.
Catherine Parker
Yeah.
crosswalk.
The
The
KP,
grand opening of the
Yeah.
crosswalk,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever been done before, so.
That would be fun.
We could name our crosswalk.
you could stop all the
Catherine Parker
cars.
That's right. Get the fire trucks out there. All right, next one.
Moving on to item C, so we've talked a little bit about this, and we've had lengthy discussions in our January meetings. I included the memo from the city manager that, as far as I know, this would be the last update to the communication that occurred between the city and us on this. So this was sent on February 3rd. I think, again, we are working diligently with our team. I want to note or call out a few things. We have, the letter calls out the need for a design professional and responsible charge, DPRC, and that in our case is Brandon. He's well, familiar. Like, we have bi-weekly meetings with Brandon and Chris, our owner's rep, or I do, and we're getting updates on this regularly. He's working on it. I think we're not stalled right now, but we're waiting for the fire alarm, and we're looking to try to figure out, okay, what are our next action items with this? At the same time, it's fairly clear to me, at least, that we will need to secure or find some additional funding sources to help complete some of this work on this timeline that's provided. And it could be something unique for the district to consider, but I think it's worthwhile to get this to a point on July 1st where we can obtain a temporary certificate of occupancy. So I will have more information for the board. I'm still working with a couple of different options for some funding sources, but I'll have more information to share back, and that will be something that will be on the board's plate to decide how they want to move forward with that.
Is our March board meeting, is that getting too close? Do we need to get that ball rolling sooner?
I would say since the March meeting is a week early, we're in great shape. It's in 3 weeks from tonight, so that's, I think, advantageous. It's possible that we will have to schedule some additional work sessions or meetings to help us get to where we need to go. There's a good amount of public work that needs to be done in a public meeting, that can only be done in a public meeting.
Right.
But I just don't have that information all lined up quite yet. Still working with those funders to kind of share what a proposal might look like, what a funding source might look like, and what the terms would be, and all those kind of things.
Well, is there a question about whether this will be completed by July 1?
There is, yeah, I think that there is. I think there's good questions about that. Mainly it's because some of the things that are required are time-consuming, not time-consuming like hours, like time-consuming like they take several weeks. Like a request for proposal takes a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The board has to review those proposals in a public process, right? You've done that before, so you know how long that can take. Then after the proposals have been reviewed and then we have to negotiate a contract with, right? And that doesn't mean that we're close, but it doesn't mean we're done. And then the contractor actually has to go to work and secure the things that are needed. And there's concerns about some of the construction materials that might be needed, like
Supply chain problems?
potentially, yeah, like doors are very difficult to come by right now, according to some contractors that we've spoken with. And doors are a needed part of the egress issues that the city has asked us to address. So I think it's gonna be tight. I have, hopes, optimism that everything will go well, but we're preparing for contingency plans. I think, I don't wanna counter what the city has put in writing, because I think that they want to stay true to that. I think if there's earnest effort by the district, if we are 90% completed with the project on July 1, then maybe there can be an extension of where we're at right now, this current state. But I don't know, so I'm trying to get everything lined up as soon as we can. And had hoped maybe to be a little bit further along, but that fire alarm piece is kind of still hanging there. And the funding sources, those take time for folks to give us back some actual proposals and how that might be laid out. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's an update for now, but it kind of ties into 12A. I don't know if there's questions though specifically about occupancy process. One kind of hanging thing though that I would like to get the board input on and some clarity, or maybe even a board motion and vote, is what does the board want me to do with this version of the letter? I received good feedback from the board in January and from our council that they did not approve or did not want me to sign the first letter. But I have spoken with the city manager a couple of times, and they would like something in response back to this, either our pieces that we, I guess, are contesting in terms of like, we don't agree with this or we don't think this, or an acknowledgement or acceptance of this letter. And that doesn't have to be, it's not formally codified like it was in the first time with a board memo or anything like that, but I think they want something back in writing that's formal. And even if that is, we don't accept this, or we're going to fight this, whatever our answer is, I think we owe them an answer on that same timeline, which is the end of February, which is Friday.
Well, is there anything in here that's objectionable?
I don't think so.
Well,
There's questions, but not objectionable.
The comment about the, in the number one, the second paragraph, talking about the permit expired July 14th last year. I didn't think that was accurate.
Yeah, I can touch on that. So we were really confused, and we finally asked, we asked the city to share a copy of the permit that was applied for, because neither Brandon nor Chris nor myself remember said permit. And the permit, there was a permit that was submitted by a previous staff member of the district, unbeknownst to me. And it's okay, it doesn't necessarily impact this experience, but there was a permit that was applied for. There was additional information to come as a part of that permit that never came. I think the effort was made by previous staff in good faith to try to move this along or get something done, and it just wasn't communicated necessarily back to me or anyone else. So there was a permit that was applied for, it expired. We never provided all the additional information that the city would have needed to process the permit.
So how do we get to, save face on that? I mean,
I don't think there's any need to. I mean, we were going to apply for a permit at some point. It's really not a big deal, but I can understand their frustration because they had a permit that we never took all the action that we said we were going to take in the permit documents.
I mean, that's kind of odd that the left hand, you were not informed.
Yeah. I was surprised when I saw that, but that's, I can't go back to July. Yeah.
So who is the design professional and responsible charge?
That's Brandon Dole from Scott Edwards Architecture.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. I mean, can we just send a letter to the city, say thank you?
Yeah.
We are moving forward at great pace to complete these things, and we'd appreciate your help as we move through these, because it's important to us and our constituents that this be finished as soon as possible. And our constituents are their constituents, so so it serves both of us to make sure that the building is safe and that we have
forwarded that, I would be happy to send that or work with a delegate.
That sounds
board.
Well, and I have a
But we
couple
talked to the lawyers.
questions. You know, I'm on page 3, and it talks about, you know, clarity in writing, and the last paragraph before, under time allowed to complete mechanical improvements. Once the mechanical permit is issued, progress needs to be made in completing the work if work does not commence within 6 months of the issuance of the permit, or if it is abandoned for 6 months, the permit expires.
Mhm.
And so on. So where are we with that? I mean, because I thought we weren't doing those, I thought those were the things that we were gonna need to have more funds for,
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
so we can't do them right now.
That's,
So this is a
That's
future.
So that's
This
up
is-
at the top that says until July 2027.
yeah, this is one of the pieces of the letter, at least the first version or second version also, that weren't clear, is what that timeline would be. So essentially what the city is doing is putting us on 2 kind of separate clocks, or separate but related clocks. The first clock is going to expire on July 1st, and there's a set of things that we need to complete by July 1st. The second clock would expire on July 1st, 2027, and that list of projects to be completed by July 1st, 2027 is the mechanical improvements. And that would be the city, I think, recognizes that would be a very labor and cost-intensive, resource-intensive project for us to complete. So that's why I think they're providing us with some leniency or additional time to complete that part of it. But they do say in all of the documents that we've received that a temporary certificate of occupancy can be issued July 1st, 2025 this year, and then a permanent certificate would be issued upon completion of the mechanical improvement.
So, and thank you.
Yeah.
The other, you know, under the the next section,
Uh-huh.
you know, because we had that nasty letter and then the city changed it. And so here again, this approval was, you know, down toward the bottom, this approval was revoked due to SEPRD unlawfully. I mean, I take issue with that word, expanding to full occupancy. I mean, I just didn't think we had done that. Because such things as, we're not opening the gym because the city said no.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, in one of my avocations, I referee basketball games, and sometimes we talk about splitting hairs. I think, we're splitting hairs here. The district had an understanding that we had permission or occupancy permission to use the building for certain things. And it's clear now in this correspondence that the city felt like they gave us permission to use it for this thing, and then at some point took that away. I think we can discuss if that was well communicated or not, or what the permission should have been, or what was fair, or what was just. We could spend a lot of time, and I've had a lot of those conversations with people and in my own head. I think what's important for us is to use the energy that we have to move forward. To me, the expectations are now very clear and the timeline is clear, and I don't really feel like, using the time and the energy that the district has at least to say, well, you didn't do this, or this wasn't clear, or you didn't communicate that, is not an effective use of the time and the resources that we have. And I strongly encourage the board, and I'm encouraging our staff to do the same, is to move forward as expeditiously as we can and get these items done so that we can open the building by July 1, 2025.
Well, and the concern I have is, you know, Mrs. Johnson goes to Jeff, and Jeff hands her that document that was inflammatory. And so, why, we can have all these good intentions, but if the public is being told a different story, then
Sure.
we look like we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate the way that it happened, but at the end of the day, I mean, 6 months, or sorry, not even 6, 4 months and a week from now, it'll be July 1, and if we're able to demonstrate to the public that we have a temporary certificate of occupancy, and we can smack it on the wall and tape it up there, or whatever we do to celebrate that accomplishment, and share it to the public, and make the building more accessible for Sharon and for other members of our district, I think that's what we need to focus on. I feel like a coach giving a pep talk to a group of folks that doesn't need a pep talk. I know you know this, but I don't disagree with anything that you're saying, Sue, but I don't have the capacity to have that conversation and still move this forward right now. And I think even if we do go back and challenge the use of the term unlawful, or challenge, well, you didn't actually communicate very well that we only had permission to use this thing, we're still going to be left with all this other stuff that we have to do. And the timeline may or may not change. Like, they may not say, okay, you can have an extra 6 months to do this.
But what, they want you to respond back to them?
I think they want acknowledgement that we received the letter and either contest some of these points or ask for whatever we think is fair, or to say a message similar to what Kyle framed, which was, we received this, we're going to work really hard on this, we hope for your partnership, we will keep you updated.
Let's work together.
Yeah, let's work together.
So all
If
the,
you have any funds, please share them with us.
We're gonna have to work together with them on the North 40 too.
Yeah.
So, again, this relationship is really important, you know. But it's also really important that they know that we accept their recommendations and we are charging the hill. We are going forward to get these things done.
Yeah.
and I think the unspoken thing that hangs over is the city doesn't want us to lose that building or to stop using that building. I mean, you think back last weekend to PBL, pouring down rain, every restaurant in town and hotel was full. That's millions of dollars.
In the middle of winter.
In the middle of winter,
Right.
on a rainy weekend, like, there would be nobody here. You know, and like, my kids are, you know, in the childcare so that I can keep working. So, you know, nobody wants to see that building go away. They just want it to be the safest it is, which is all of our goals. So, I think the fact that we've put so much money and time and effort into upgrading the fire alarm system, which is so close to being done, shows that we are making great strides to get that building where it needs to be, which, you know, still sort of cracks me up that it was safe enough for our kids to use as a school, but suddenly isn't safe. But anyway, splitting hairs, as you said, Skylar. Yes, Celeste.
I agree with what everyone is saying, but I do want to echo what Sue's saying. Like, I want to believe that the city realizes how much value this building brings to the economics of the city. And I guess I am frustrated that this is the letter that was shared with the patron that we had in the audience. I don't know if she's still here, but and I'm just wondering, like, at what date was that letter shared? Because that would be telling to me, because I feel like our city partners, like, if that letter was just shared within the last few days, I feel like we have a bigger communication problem to resolve, and not on our end. I feel like it's on the city end, that they need to be communicating with each other, because if that was just shared, that is not actually the story that should be shared with the public right now. And I feel like then we have to up our game about providing more transparency to the conversations that are taking place, because it is frustrating for us to be on the receiving end of having blame laid for where we are, because we're working hard at trying to get this over the finish line.
Agreed.
I don't think
I can
February
answer
4th?
that if you want.
Was it February 4th you said?
Pardon?
You said February 4th you picked up the
No,
letter?
I met with Skylar on February 6th, but when I didn't get answers on dates and that there was a plan, then I went to where he said was holding up the plan, which was City of Seattle. The manager said that...
Seaside.
I'm sorry, I used to live in Seattle, sorry. City of Seaside. So the city manager said it has been referred to the building department and to talk to Jeff Laurie. So this all happened in the last couple weeks. But the other thing he said was that the reason it was under code for kids, to answer your question that was in there, this is a whole nother purpose that is being used for recreation. There's a whole different set of codes when it's a recreation building versus a school.
Oh, I'm not debating that.
Right.
So
I
that's
just
why
find
it
it
was safe for
humorous
them, but not for
That we could
recreation.
have 500 children in there,
Yeah.
and it was safe, but now it's not.
I would
for-
like to point,
Yeah.
I would like to point out, in order to get that code change, which you are correct in referencing, and that is a true point, is that once you change a use of a building, it does kick in the opportunity for the city to ask us to change, to bring things up to code. And that all just happened earlier, or at the end of last year. We just received our change of use permission from the city council at the end of last year. So it is not as if, like, I just want to set the record straight. It is not as if a change of use permission was granted 4 years ago or 3 years ago. The change of use is fairly recent, and then we received not very clear guidance from the city initially about what we had to do to bring things up to code. Now we have some clarity, but this is all stuff happening in real time, and we're working our best to move it forward as it's being handed to us. But I just want to make clear, and I think it's important, unless, Skylar, I'm stating something that isn't true, I think it is important for the public to realize that we've been asking for guidance all along from the city about how to get SRC opened. We've been asking for it. We've been jumping through hoops. We've gone to meetings. We've gone through the diligent process of asking for the new conditional use to be authorized. It got authorized. Then we got handed these other, like, we've been jumping through the hoops to get this building online for everybody to use.
This has been on our agenda every month for 20 years.
Every single meeting, we have a public meeting and public discussion about what we need to do, what the new request is from the city, and again, I don't necessarily object to the, if you will, upcycled or upscaled kind of requirements in order to make sure the building is safe for everyone, but it's the intention that this board has had, and I think that staff has worked diligently towards at getting us to a place where this building, where everybody feels comfortable that this building is safe. And I think it is, to me, very frustrating that an old letter that was rescinded is being shared with the public. I think it's misleading. So I'll state that on the record.
It's public information.
Yeah, but it's
Everything
an
that's-
old letter.
It's public
But it was
information.
rescinded, and a new letter was issued that is also public
But did they
information. So
provide
were
you with
shared
the new
old
letter?
version. You were shared the old
Right.
version.
Yeah, they should have given all the letters.
Right, which,
Yeah.
that would have been fine.
So Skylar, to land the plane here, so can we send the acknowledgement, thank you for working with us on this, blah, 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 whatever you say, and then if there are difficult discussions to have those between you and the city manager, you and the building code official.
In our owner's reps.
Yes.
In the owner's reps.
Yep, that sounds fine. Thank you.
Does that work for you, Celeste? I mean, having the conversation that you just suggested, but having that offline rather than online.
So I am fine with that, and I recognize, Skylar, you've done a huge amount of work to have those discussions offline. I think part of the reason that I'm being a little bit more forward here is because it doesn't appear to me that the conversations we're having with the city manager are necessarily being passed to the rest of the city stakeholders. And so I want to approach the initial question that I had is why not have an IGA type meeting that we had previously when we didn't feel like everyone was on the same page? And is that something, I think you put out a call for that, Skylar, and I'm wondering if there's been any response from the city side of things.
No, there hasn't been. But I think that's a great, that seems to be a strategy that would work because it puts parameters and conditions on this, and enhances communication, ensures better communication, because I agree with you. So that could be a component of this acknowledgement of this letter, is asking for that type of committee to form, and selecting or suggesting maybe some representatives from the city that we know need to be involved. I could include that if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my only technical question about the letter is that they're applying the 2022 fire code, but the permit, they're telling us that the permit was issued in 21. So why are we using the later fire code, not the fire code that was in place at the time the permit was issued?
It's a great question.
And I don't know if there are any differences. Maybe they're all the same.
Yeah.
It should be clear.
But they say on the first page that we have to comply with the 22 fire code, and on the second page, they say that we've applied for the permit in 21. Structural specialty code is what you call it.
Yeah. Sorry, where is the 2021?
On the last paragraph,
reference?
under 6, it says 2022 Oregon Specialty Code. That's on page 2, yes. And then on page 3, under temporary CO, it says, on the second line, it says, seems like it was in 2021.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this italics, this is actually my question to the city, and it's a question that stemmed from our board meeting.
Oh, okay.
And it was me wondering, and I think it actually came from Celeste, sorry if I'm misremembering, but it seems like the city has the authority, if they choose to, they can grant us temporary certificates of occupancy at any time.
Yes.
And they, from what appears to be the paper trail, they did that in 2021 for what they say is a short period of time for limited use of the building. And then they withdrew that permission, but we wanted to ask the question, what would stop you from giving us a temporary certificate right now and putting a deadline of 6 months on it for now, so that as a message to share to the public that the building is safe, that it meets enough of the standard or enough of the code, and they're working towards full code compliance, or however they want to justify it in their head. And I'm almost certain that that has happened for lots of other buildings. I think maybe, I'm glad we asked the question, but it doesn't seem like the city is willing to grant us a temporary certificate in that way.
I think we're not going to have any leverage till the fire alarm systems.
Yeah, that's a shame it's so delayed. Was there liquidated damages in that contract?
I don't know.
The deadline?
It's a great question.
No, that is a great question.
That's a good one to have on a contract like that, where the work is sensitive and needs to be done in a timely way. Liquidated damages penalizes the contractor for not finishing on time.
Yeah, let me look into that more, Mike. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for all your work on this, Skylar. I know it's been awful to process.
Appreciate the board's support, and love that we've had a fully transparent process. I wish, things were a little bit different, but I think there's some optimism still. All right, 12A fitness agreement. So this was something that was germinating in our heads, I think, and then the conversation that I had with Sharon was really a catalyst for me looking into this further. So just taking a pulse of the district, what we were able to provide for drop-in fitness programming. That was a big part of our membership offering, is having a space that folks, anytime the pool was open, you could scan in, go to the gym, and you could get your lifting, your cardio, whatever you use the gym for. The only time it was limited was when we had group fitness classes, because those were often using almost all the pieces of equipment. So we have come to an agreement with a local gym. It's called Mint Conditioning. It's located in the kind of the airport business park area. So it's technically a Gearhart address, but it's right there on the border. And we will be sending out, we just finalized the agreement yesterday, but we'll be sending out information to our members so that they can opt in to a membership option to have access to that space. And that space is kind of unique because it's one of those 24/7 sites where you have a key card or a fob system or something, punch code that gets you access to that space. So it's very flexible. And the agreement will last with them for hopefully 2 to 4 months, but as soon as we have either the SRC operational or the fitness room repaired, we're doing our part of the fitness room repairs right now, which is replacing the joists, the beams that were damaged from the water leak. But there's a part that will be done by the contractor and working through the insurance. And so we're on their schedule, but we're kind of sensing that it might be another couple months. And like I said, the conversation that I had with Sharon, in all transparency, was a catalyst for encouraging us to move expeditiously. I know it's taken almost a month to get this in place, but happy to provide this information out to our members probably tomorrow, give them some directions on how to get signed up for it if they want to choose it. And then we're working with the gym. They're going to bill us for the usage of that space. And we're anticipating a similar usage as we've had at other times when we've had to close our facilities and we've sent people to Astoria or Manhalem to swim or to swim and gym there. We weren't able to work out a reciprocal arrangement with that gym. They weren't interested in having their members come here, so it's just a straight pay for services. But I think it's something that we'd like to keep our members engaged with the district, and this is a great customer service piece, and more importantly, we have an obligation, and again, this is a point that Sharon made, so I'm sure she is saying, I said that, which is great, is that we want to keep people happy and healthy and active, and taking this away from them for an extended period of time is not really in their best interest. I mean, we're all habitual people, and building those habits of exercising and working out is so important, and then to have the space where you do it and kind of not be available, that can be really negatively transformative, and not something that sits well, I think, with any of us as staff members.
So how are these members going to hear? Because I get questions every day when I'm at the gym.
Yeah, so we'll have some signage posted within the next day or so, but generally speaking, the way that they're going to hear is through, we're going to email their Rec One email account that they use to sign up for programs. So assuming that those folks are checking their email and are engaged, don't have us sent to spam, they'll have some instructions in the email of what they need to do to get signed up for this. And it'll be a pretty fast process once they get signed up, and we're really hoping to have the first round or whoever signs up by the end of the week available to use that space starting March 1st, which is Saturday.
Is there a cost to members?
There is not a cost to members. The district is going to cover that cost.
We've done that before when we closed the pool for extended Astoria.
I went to the grand opening of it.
Yeah, they have a branch in Astoria. They've been in operation for a while, but yeah, this one in Seaside, they recently took over from a different gym. I think it was
Celeste has a question.
Iron Den or something like that. Yes, Celeste.
My only question is whether or not we have any liability if it's an unattended gym. Like, does that liability rest on them if there's an injury, or?
Yeah, great question. We included that as a tenant in the agreement, but all of the district members that take advantage of this opportunity will sign the mint conditioning waiver and release liability form, and that will be a condition of their getting their code or their pass or their access to that space.
Good question.
Thank you so much. Chugging along.
Chugging. I guess, I'll keep talking. So, you all saw and heard the news, and I think I shared it with you all. I mean, this has been in the works for a while with Justin interviewing and accepting the position down at North County Recreation District as their executive director. We went through an internal search with some really great candidates. We had 5 candidates go through the process, and they were all uniquely qualified and had some great experiences. After review, we offered the position to Erin Redding. She was managing our youth programs. She's been a youth program manager for about 3 years, and before that, she worked for the City of Astoria as their programs manager. She has experience in a YMCA setting. She actually worked for the district for a short time, background in this in recreation and in early education. She's a Seaside High School graduate. So anyways, I don't need to go on and on, but I think she's a great choice. We had several really, really great candidates. It was a difficult choice, but I'm looking forward to Erin taking kind of the reins of our programs from Justin. She started last week, so we had about a week transition. We obviously haven't filled her role within the youth programs team, but we'll be doing that hopefully soon and posting that position and moving forward. But yeah, excited for Erin and the opportunity that we'll have to have her lead this important direction for us.
Well, I really support hiring with me. I think if we can develop our own candidates, I think that's much better for us in return.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for Erin,
Yeah.
but that.
Hey, Jane, there's a job you can apply for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that hasn't opened yet.
It hasn't opened yet. Again, we're looking hopefully into this
Thank
week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Into this week to post the opportunity, and we haven't made a final decision if it's going to be open only internally or internally and externally for that youth programs position, or there's some other considerations that we're thinking about for adjusting that position to make sure it fits with our model and the people that we have and where we're going as a district. So when somebody leaves, it's kind of a take a breath, and you want to think about it and make sure that you're doing these transitions in a really thoughtful way. I think that's something that we want to make sure happens.
Well, that goes along with Kyle's comment at the beginning about how we raise desirable employees.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And congratulations, congratulations to
I know.
I said the same thing about Justin. Congratulations, but
Yeah.
sorry, you know, I'll miss you.
Well, I think the data is pretty clear. It's about if you promote from within, you have about a 2/3 chance of success, and if you hire from the outside, you have about a 1/3 chance of success. And the success is measured by whether that person's still in the position in 3 years.
Interesting. Okay.
A couple other things just wanted to share. I don't have this on the agenda, but just wanted to talk about the positive experience we've had with hosting the PBL tournaments. There's several improvements that we've made internally to improve the janitorial and the customer service experience that we're providing to the teams, but it's a really, I mean, I can't understate how many people are coming to the facility and seeing it, and I think the service that we're providing, even just in this tournament setting, is really great. It's been really nice this year because we have that additional parking lot. We had a couple of weeks, and I'm going to put it on the record, we had a local business that had a semi-truck parked out front of the SRC, and it was a really challenging situation. And I think we've learned how to manage that best.
I haven't seen it there.
Yeah, but that extra parking lot with those additional 30 spaces, that's been huge. And super thankful to our maintenance and janitorial team for providing that extra service, because that's made a big difference.
I would also like to shout out to whomever, probably Courtney, I assume, but kind of restriped the parking lot, having the cars angling.
Yeah.
It's so much better than when they were just parking all willy-nilly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Significantly safer. So thank you for making that happen. And I mean, the striping that's down isn't, I mean, it's not super permanent, but they've figured it out, so that was great.
Yeah. I think we've heard a little bit about the pickleball club, but I just wanted to shout out the great work by our staff to provide this, and then the great sponsorship that we have. But you heard about it from Zoe, and at the time of me composing the agenda, I didn't know that she was going to touch on that, so that's awesome. Legislative news, I think we could get into the weeds extensively here, but I don't know if that's the best space for it. But there's a lot of uncertainty, I think, in government work right now. I think the special district model is really unique, and we're kind of insulated from a lot of those impacts, but we're still kind of feeling them, and we have contracts with federal funding agencies, right? Like Northwest Senior Disability Services gets a lot of their funding federally. I shared this news, but losing our tenant Consejo Español is partially related to the uncertainty in the federal legislator and political activities of this day right now. So it's created a lot of uncertainty and a little bit of unease. Some of it we've felt before, but this feels different, I think, to staff and to probably many in our community. I think we're concerned about our senior meals program. That's a program that is a recipient of federal funding, and there's been some concern that federal funding may not always exist, and that program is such a staple for so many in our community and for the Park and Rec District and Seaside. But I will keep you posted on that. I do want to share publicly that the district has had a DEI committee for about 6 years, and we're really proud of the work that we have done internally to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion, and education, especially efforts within the district. We'll continue to have that, but I'm sensitive to other agencies that aren't able to have that anymore, or there's uncertainty about that topic. But I think for us, it's very important, and it's certainly raised the bar on our knowledge and how to better serve our community and be better internal customer servants for each other, gaining education and awareness about some of those topics. Locally, I say locally, like statewide, there's a really intense legislative session, and there's some things that are impacting park and recreation providers. I think with recreational immunity, again, there's some bills that are in the works. Some of them address all of the recreational immunity concerns that providers have, and some don't. But it's something that I think, as we have efforts or intention of maybe branching out to providing more recreation grounds and land and trails eventually, there's concerns that those offerings could be impacted by legislative efforts. And then the other thing that's being discussed right now, I think, is using TLT or transient lodging tax money for cities, for communities to have more flexibility in doing that. And that doesn't sound like it would impact SEPRD, and it may not. But there's a lot of TLT money in our community, and there's a lot of restrictions on how the city of Seaside could use it. And right now, the city has to manage that on their own, but there's a lot of desire, I think, to see legislation that would allow some of those funds to be used in a more flexible way. So I just kind of wanted to give you a taste of some of the things that are going on. It's, like I said, it's intense at the federal level and also at the state level, but if there's further questions or knowledge, there's our ORPA membership gets us access to the legislative committee, and they lobby on our behalf. We have a lobbyist that works for the association. We also have efforts or avenues that we can pursue through SDAO, and they have a lobbyist as well that works closely with the ORPA lobbyist. So,
who's the SDAO lobbyist?
I think it's Mark Landauer.
Mark Landauer. Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah. The ORPA one is a woman named Cindy Roberts. She's really great also.
So if the board needs to support ORPA or SEPRD, let us know if we have to go testify and bang the drum in our own defense.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and I'll remind everybody, I think the board passed policy last year that said that on items that align with the district's mission and the board priorities, that staff and a board designee, which Celeste, could work together to draft a letter of support quickly, because sometimes we don't have the opportunity to come to the board. Mm-hmm. And it would obviously be shared at the next meeting for transparency. So I'm realizing that I skipped over item B, so just wanted to quickly review the SDAO conference. It was a great conference. I was able to be there, but just for one day, just because of some family commitments. It was extremely snowy and cold and icy. I've been to Sun River and Bend lots of times for conferences over my tenure, but this was the diciest I've ever seen the roads, the conditions. It was great once you get there, but we've gotten a lot of snow here, so I feel like I've become a better driver in snow over the last month or so. I worry more about the other,
Less work.
worry more about the other drivers, but
Yeah.
we did have 3 staff that attended, and they had a great experience. One of our part-time staff, Emma, attended, as well as Haley, our HR admin manager. Next year, the conference will be in Seaside again, so, looking forward to that. And, yeah, just appreciate our membership and the education that we get from SEO, because there was a couple of, even in the day that I was there's 3 really, really worthwhile sessions, and I think the content that we get is really top tier. So, just a review quickly of the meetings upcoming, or events, things like that. So tomorrow night is the Fascination Tournament. I think I heard some of you discussing your form and your strategy of how you will be winning, which is great. The Budget Committee application deadline is Friday. I would love to receive more applicants.
Do we have any?
We do not at this point. I wanted to, I say that with caution, because we can have a budget committee of 9 people. That's what we would have right now, is currently constituted. It's perfectly allowable, so it's okay. But I know there's some other interests maybe, and I could probably reach out to folks, but yeah, we posted it. We put a classified ad in the Daily Historian. We've had or messaging on Facebook for it.
I told him he had till Friday.
Okay, well,
And he said he needed to talk to you.
maybe he's a procrastinator, but yeah, we'll see. Family Dance is coming up a week from Saturday. I noted our March board meeting date, just for clarity. I think I said the wrong date in an email that Kyle pointed out, which is great. So it's a week early, on March 18th, still a Tuesday. And then tentatively set our first budget committee meeting date for April 15th, and put the date of the egg hunt on there. It's coming up in April 19th. It's hard to believe next week is March, and that we're so close to spring and those types of things. But anyways, that was it for me. As you guys move to executive session, you'll need to do your motion and things. I'm sure you all remember that, but just want to make sure you. Okay.
Well, please.
Glad we're having this talk.
We need a motion.
Motion for what?
Number 14, we're going to executive session.
Oh.
Somebody needs to read the whole shebang.
I move that we recess into, I have to read the whole thing?
Yes?
I move that we recess to executive session for the purpose of review and evaluate employee-related performance of the chief executive officer who does not request an open hearing pursuant to ORS 192.660.
1 eye.
1I.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. Kyle.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Celeste.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We will note that we will resume. We're going to shoot for,
Recording stopped.
Hey, Skylar,
I'll say 8, but
are you going tomorrow to Angelina's?
I am also going to
pour water on this, what would make it a sauna?
You go away. I like my heater.
Are you warm now?
My fingers are finally.
I'm cold.
I'm having, I've got.
Do you want me to
other
point it
issues.
at you?
My hands feel cold whether it's cold or not.
I'm gonna start a fire in the middle of the floor here.
Oh, my goodness, I feel warm.
We should, yeah. I would leave this one in this room, Skylar.
I'm really sorry, I didn't know that there
Are
was
you
one in the
sure?
back office. Actually, now I think I know it's good work, because I heard there's two back there, and I could have brought one for Sue, and it would have been such a more pleasant board meeting for the two of you, I'm sorry.
It's kind of cold, it's
okay.
cold in front of these windows.
Okay,
Call it back to order.
hold on, I gotta find my,
If the city will fix these.
I supposedly got fixed yesterday. Board comment, Kyle, go.
Hang on, sorry.
Oh, wait.
1 second, if you're gonna take any of those.
Oh, right, yes,
actions, you
okay.
need a-
We need a motion, to implement what was discussed in executive session.
So, I move that we provide the executive director, 3%.
We just have to say what was
3%.
discussed in executive session. Nope,
We have to vote on our actions, right?
we don't have to spell out the details.
Because it's
Because
employee
of the-
compensation.
Yeah, yes. So we just have to say what was discussed agreed upon in executive session.
And the only reason I'm sort of stalling is I'm wondering how that's gonna look for the transparency for the citizens. I just want them to know we're.
We don't discuss, HR.
So I move the discussion from executive session. How's that? Is that better?
To approve the action as discussed in executive session?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor,
Aye.
signify aye. Opposed, nay. Kyle?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Celeste?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, now board comment.
You look at me,
Yes.
I have a couple of comments, I'll try to make this short, but I have a lot of comments. First, I'd like to thank Mrs. Johnson, Sheriff. You know, I don't know that the community realizes that when somebody comes to talk to us, we really listen.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to get that feedback. So, Mrs. Johnson, if you're looking at this, thank you for coming forward. I'd also like to thank the board. You know, we passed a fee schedule back in September, October. The community came forward and said, wait a minute, this fee schedule is causing problems for us. We came back together and solved it. I talked to Carolyn a couple of days ago, and she is very happy with where the board went with it. So I appreciate that. Zoe and Jane, these ladies are awesome. But I want to get back to Carolyn for a second. You know, I've been involved in swimming at some level or another all my life. You know, my grandkids are carrying on the family tradition. And I had a chance to spend about, I don't want to say half an hour with Carolyn yesterday. And she is one of the smartest, most engaged, data-oriented. She is one of the most professional swimming coaches I've ever met. And I hope the board appreciates her capabilities, because she's really something special. So, Carolyn, if you're out there, thank you for being who you are. And that's
Okay, Sue.
So I want to keep things short, so your daughter gets her parent home. So basically want to say thank you to Jane, thank you to Zoe and Jane. A real appreciation for Justin and all he has provided to this community of Sunset Empire, but also, you know, just best of luck in the future, because we did grow him here, and now he is able to sprout and, you know, fly off on his own. Yeah. That. And so I also appreciate, you know, that we have, you know, my tape recorder idea that every complaint is a gift, and I am grateful because I've had people coming up to me at the gym where I go with what's going on and how can you fix it, and we've been able to dispel some rumors. But anyway, I'm very glad that there is an alternative now. And I think the email tomorrow to get to those people is a positive idea, and welcome. I continue to be unhappy with our, the way Jeff Laurie has, handled the public, and I'm dealing with him in a different topic as well. So I hope that can be improved, because I think to undermine us with inflammatory language, it doesn't help the city. And I think that there could be a lesson learned in remembering we're all a team and trying to remember promoting that teamwork, rather than trying to sort of manage up rather than take each other down. And I hope that that's not a lesson that can be learned else, in this board, because we already work really well together. But I hope that maybe our example of a response can be something that the city might see and be, fall in line with, that we work well with each other. I am grateful that all three of us are deciding to step forward and be reelected or attempt, So I mean, I'm happy to see that, and I think that speaks, just like Justin can grow and move on, I think that speaks well for what we do for this community, that we're willing to stay and continue something transparent, something that is effective, and something that is positive.
Thank you. Mike?
Thank you. I want to thank Skylar for everything he's doing and will be doing soon. I'm very proud to serve on this board. I'm proud of the things that we stand for and that the Park District represents. It really does come down to teamwork, and I'm glad we've been doing so well. I am going to miss Justin Smith, just as many other people will in the community, but he'll still be living here, and life goes on. We just have to muddle through. We've got great people like Zoe and Darren and Isaiah and Haley and Aaron Redding and all these other great people on staff, Jake and James and the other few people I'm familiar with. So I'm just happy to be here, and I hope I'll be able to continue to serve in some way.
Yes.
Can I add a sentence? I want to say congratulations to Darren. He was elected to be the Byron Meek Award winner this year, and that's a tremendous honor.
It certainly is. I'm sorry we missed that. There wasn't a single Kiwanian at that chamber dinner. We had no idea. I had nominated Darren over the past years, and he never gotten it. He really deserves that award, and it's an honor for the Park District. It's an honor for our Kiwanis Club that he's an integral part of. It's great what he's doing in schools with Builders Club and building the leadership in the community.
We appreciate that.
Very good.
Celeste?
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat the folks. I agree with all counts of what folks have elevated, but I do want to extend a congratulations again to Skylar on an excellent review, and with particularly pleased about the increased staff ratings that you received on your 360 this year. So great work for this year. And then also just a brief note to the rest of our team there that I am going to be out of country actually for the next 6 weeks. So I will be missing the next board meeting, but looking forward to seeing y'all on the other side.
Safe travels.
Yep.
Yes, truly.
I would like to say congratulations and bon voyage to Justin. Appreciated
having him the last 10 years, but wish him well. Congratulations to Jane on Employee of the Month, and to Jane and Zoe on a great presentation and doing all their great work. I think we're making progress on a lot of things. I appreciate everybody on the board, and I appreciate knowing that you all are running again, because that was a little purpose. Congratulations to Skylar on a great review. And with that, meeting adjourned. Done.
So is there a way to put, is there a way to take the pictures?
Safe travels.
Thank you, see you later.
The pictures of the three of us
Bye.
from 4 years ago and put it in a, something?
I've still got all our banners. If
Recording
you
stuff.
need a piece of it, let me know.
Well, I mean, Kyle and, you know,